humans, it's just Martine, and welcome to a weekly reading vlog for week 2 of March. It's Monday at 4:40 p.m. I haven't done any reading today. I have the day off of school, but I've been doing schoolwork because I took most of the weekend off from schoolwork. It was a trade. Anyway, if you want to know what I'm in the middle of reading, I'll leave my last reading vlog right there because there are quite a few moving parts this month between a War and Peace read-along, book club picks, and a readathon hosted by my friend Ashley called the Breezy Hollow Readathon, which is inspired by Animal Crossing. So, lots of things going on. At least it's not Buzzwordathon this week like it was last week, but everything went perfectly fine. So my main focuses for reading this week is, of course, to make more progress in my Breezy Hollow Readathons. The other night I started 3 Dark Crowns, and I don't think I mentioned it to the vlog at all last night. After I'd already ended that vlog, I finished chapter 1 of that and then promptly read chapters 2 and 3 because the end of chapter 1 had me like, it was insane. So I'm really enjoying that so far. I'm about 50 pages in. Good stuff, good stuff. And then, of course, this weekend we have the live show for the Shelf This book club hosted by my friend Bailey, and we're reading In the Woods by Tana French this month. And currently I'm on my page 214, the beginning of chapter 10, I believe, and I'm enjoying it so far. I'll fill you in as I read. I'm actually going to start reading some of that after I finish this clip. Also, in War and Peace, I'm about 100 pages into book 3, so right on track. And I think I might even be able to get a little ahead of schedule this week because this week's reading is only 600 of my pages. Last week's was like 900 of my pages, so who knows? It would be really nice to have that buffer, but I also want to get a lot of other things done this week that are not necessarily reading. And also, there are a ton of books that I'm past in the middle of and have been reading since last month and haven't finished because suddenly I was focusing on all these things. So maybe I'll finish 1 or 2 of those, including the fact that yesterday I started listening to the audiobook and only got like 20 minutes into the audiobook of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. It's my first V.E. Schwab book. I'm very excited about it, and so far I'm liking the audiobook, but I just don't know how much audiobook listening time I'm going to have this week. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. Anyway, all that to say, there's a crazy amount of stuff to read. I'm having a great time. It's a busy month, but I think it's going to be a great one. I'm ready for week 2 to begin, so let's get reading. Just got to page 241. Time to have dinner. It's almost 7:30 and I just reached the halfway point. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm interested to see where it goes because he thinks he has a reason, like he's working towards a reason to arrest a certain character to get to an arrest warrant, but we still have half the book left. So like the other shoe is about to drop and I'm just patiently waiting for it to happen. I also have some issues. So because I'm discussing this with a book club, I wanted to think about it a little more objectively in some ways. Most of the time when it comes to mystery books, especially those that involve detectives, I just try to suspend my disbelief because I realize like it's a work of fiction and stuff. There's this big part of the story that's about repressed and or lost memories of the main character, and like the truth about trauma is that it's very hard to forget and that there have been no actual documented cases of truly accurate repressed memories. So that part is annoying me a little bit, and especially because he just now had a huge revelation and that's going to affect how the story goes forward, and I just don't want this whole thing to be solved through him suddenly gaining access to repressed memories. Like, I'll be so upset if that happens. But other than that, I'm enjoying it so far. It's 8:30 p.m. and my last magic act of the night was reading to page 1100 of War and Peace. And we were on a roll with interesting things and like marriage proposals and such, and then we went back to the war front, and I do not care. Yeah, I'm sorry for what I just did. Anyway, I'm going to now probably read in bed until I fall asleep. It will probably be 3 Dark Crowns. Hello, happy Tuesday. It's 2 p.m., just a little bit past, but I wanted to update you on my reading. So last night I got to page 100 of 3 Dark Crowns, and I'm still really enjoying it so far, and I think the plot's about to pick up, so I'm ready. I also read a couple of stories from the anthology that I've been reading, and then I finished The Aura by Carrie Bedford, I think it's called. I gave it 3.5 stars. That was a rollover from last month, and I'm glad that I finally finished that. All good things. I also think I didn't mention, but I got to 5% of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm just taking a couple percentages at a time when I have spare moments. And then today, the only reading that I've done so far is my section today of In the Woods. I got up to chapter 15, which is my page 334. That's where I am in it, more than halfway done. And I'm enjoying it so far, but I literally have no idea who did it. Like, I just have no idea. There was one interesting scene where they were having a conversation with this one guy, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he's a psychopath because he's like a corporate CEO or something, and just the way he was acting, I was like, he seems like a psychopath from what I've studied of corporate psychopaths. And then they left, and she was like, I'm pretty sure he was a psychopath, and like, I've known psychopaths. And I was just like, interesting. So that was interesting, but there was just a pretty intense scene, an interrogation scene, but they still, like, I feel like they have no evidence at all of who did it, and just when everything comes together, I'm sure I'm going to be mystified because I have no clue one way or the other. That's where I am. Later today, I'll do my War and Peace reading, and maybe I'll read some more of this during Nessa's sprints. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, Nessa. So she's having some reading sprints on our channel tonight, so maybe I'll read more of this. War and Peace, something else, who knows. It's 4:07, and I just spent the last like 35 to 40 minutes reading my 100 pages of War and Peace for the day. So now I'm on page 1200. Honestly, I don't know what's happening. War is happening, and I'm not interested, but that's fine. We'll get through this part. We're getting through it. Because it's Nessa's birthday today, some of us did sprints over on her channel. It was great fun. I had to leave early for a budget meeting, but that's fine. But that does mean that I got to page 415 of In the Woods. So I just have a bit over 100 pages left, but it's already past my bedtime. That meeting started at 9 p.m. for some reason. So I'm going to crawl into bed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hello. It's Wednesday. It's just past 2:30 p.m. After a combination of last night and then a little reading this morning, I have gotten to page 450 of In the Woods, so I only have like 100 pages left. I'm really hoping to finish this today, and I would continue reading it in the 30 minutes before I have to leave for class. However, instead I want to get my War and Peace reading out of the way. Last night, I read a few pages of War and Peace as I was falling asleep, but I want to do that reading first so that when I come back to my room later, after dinner tonight, aside from writing, I can just finish this book. Let's do it. It's like 4 minutes till 3, and I just finished book 3. Woot woot. It's 9 p.m. and I just finished In the Woods by Tana French. And I'm so torn because here's the thing. I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to give it a high rating. But also, the ending was like so frustrating. But in the end, I'm giving it 4 stars. Here's the thing. Was the resolution pretty and in a bow? No. Was it realistic though? Yes. Did things work out in a way that totally would have happened to real detectives? Yes. This book was maddening. Like, so maddening, because the reason it's so long, they actually do an investigation in this, like a whole investigation with multiple parts, with multiple branches going off of it. I don't want to spoil anything, but as much as I'm annoyed about what wasn't neatly resolved, I get that there was a point. I really don't think the author just said, I forget entirely what I wrote in most of this book, and I'm just going to throw something together now. Like, that's not what she did, in my opinion. In my opinion, she made a very deliberate and maddening choice and a statement about trauma and psychology. I think people just want their mysteries wrapped in nice bows. So I understand if that's all you're looking for a mystery book, why you would have this book absolutely ruined for you by the ending of it. But that being said, I just appreciated so many things so much. the constant discussions about admissibility in court instead of just running around grabbing evidence illegally that would never stand up in court. The way that they got to their conclusions, there was one slight flashbulb moment. You know, there has to be an aha moment in a complicated case for any investigator. But if it's as complex as a case as this was, it's so unrealistic in other books when they suddenly just have everything fall into place and they're like, oh my God, I just discovered this crazy thing. It just suddenly makes sense. It came to me just now. This was more of an unfolding, and I really appreciated that. So if you want something fast-paced, I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for you, but if you want a good police procedural, this is it for you. This is it. I haven't read a better one that's more accurate, that's more detailed about it. I just haven't. I liked how honest all the detectives were in their inner monologues about like, I'm going to do this to try and make them waive their rights to a lawyer and stuff. This is how I'm trying to work around things. Again, every part about admissibility just had me like, yes, chef's kiss. I did not appreciate the use of profiling. It's really easy for me to suspend disbelief about most police procedurals because I just know it's going to be wrong. So I'm like, okay, we're just having a fun time, whatever. Or like if the main character is like a criminal profiler and that's all they do, like I'm expecting a different story. But right, when you have something as detailed as this, you're like a little more hard on it. So one of the characters used profiling techniques, and part of me was annoyed at that, if only because she kept referencing it, but also the character herself who was using the profiling techniques was like, this is not fully accurate. Like she had studied psychology and she was like, this is just my guess based off of things. Like this is not an actual science and stuff. So I at least appreciated that they didn't like make it this whole thing when everything else was so accurate. But yeah, I don't know. I have such mixed feelings about this. I understand how people would hate this, but I also understand how people would love it. I think our book club discussion is going to be really fascinating on Sunday if people manage to finish the book. Now I'm going to climb into bed and probably read some Three Dark Crowns until I fall asleep. But oh man, that was like not the ending I was expecting. I was honestly expecting like a flashbulb moment and a whole thing per usual. I don't feel like it's a spoiler that it didn't do that, but I didn't expect to be satisfied by this type of ending is what I'll say. Okay, this clip's been long enough. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Talk to you tomorrow. Happy Thursday. Just a couple quick updates for you on my reading progress. I hit a huge milestone in War and Peace today, 25%. Woo! And we're also at a part now again that's not fully war, so that's good. It won't last long, I know, but I'm enjoying it while we're here. Then in Three Dark Crowns, I've gotten to 40%. I swear that book is addictive, especially because like I'll finish one sister's chapter. It's told from three perspectives. The perspective of one of each of the three queens, hence the Three Dark Crowns. And they're triplets. So there's one chapter following another in their perspective in the same order of Catherine, Arsinoe, and then Mirabella. And I swear every time, like I feel like I can't stop after reading Catherine's chapter. I then also have to read Arsinoe's chapter and then also Mirabella's chapter before we're back at like an actual ending point in my mind at the beginning of Catherine's chapter. I don't know why, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And I'm excited for Beltane to start and things to get crazy. And then I'm at 20% of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and I'm enjoying it so far, but not much to report there. So I just got to 50% of Three Dark Crowns. I'm feeling so many things. Oh no. This would be a spoiler if I was going into details, but all I'm going to say for those of you who have read it is when the boy finds out who Mirabella is. Oh God. I freaked out. Like I knew he was probably a character we'd met, but I wasn't imagining all of that. Anyway, so now I'm at 50% and it's really good. I'm enjoying it. It's got the same darkness to the tone as The House of Salt and Sorrows, which I really liked, especially considering the fact that it was a fantasy. So this being a fantasy, maybe I just like dark fantasy better than regular fantasy. I'm loving it. Great. It's 7:49 and I'm about to hop into my club's meeting. But before that, I was just sitting doing some reading sprints hosted by Sarah from Sarah's Shelves. I got to 30% of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Also, I started Good Friends by Leanne Moriarty, which is the book for the prompt pair, read a book with a mainly green cover for the Breezy Hollow Readathon, and I'm 25% of the way through that. It's a really quick read with super short chapters, so that's nice. The number of times I went, "You're joking," when reading Three Dark Crowns. I think it's going to be a 4.5 out of 5 stars because it was really good, but there were some parts that like weren't perfect to me. I don't know, but there were some parts that I didn't like exactly of, what's it called? The first one in the Grisha trilogy, Shadow and Bone. There were some imperfect parts of that, and I still gave it a 5 stars. Maybe I'll give this 5 stars. I can't start the second book right now, and I don't even have access to the third one, but like the ending of this book, I am beyond shook. Oh my gosh. No. Like I no coherent words, but I finished it. Yay. Second Breezy Hollow book down. Happy Saturday. I'm at 50% of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm enjoying it, but I do think it's maybe too long, but we'll see. It's 1:41 and I did my War and Peace reading for the day, so I finished book 4. I'm now in book 5. And then thanks to some reading sprints by Nessa and the other hosts of the BTS Readathon, which I'm not participating in, but I've been in, I think, all of their reading sprints at this point, I got to page 166 of Good Friends. So now I'm at 60%. I only have 100 pages left to go. What an abrupt ending to a video. Did I even film on Sunday? I sure don't think so, because did I even read on Sunday? I'm pretty sure I didn't. But I did have a fun time having this Shelf This book discussion with Bailey, and I had other stuff going on, and overall it was still a fun day, even though I got no reading done. But if you like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. How's your March reading going? And subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!